When did this notion of equality enter into feminism?
Well, it's there in the struggle for the vote, that the struggle for the vote is carried on in two seemingly conflicting ways that nonetheless manage to both balance in a kind of tension. And that is, one is a strict equality argument. Women are persons, they're individuals, they're citizens, they deserve to express their voices as all those things, just like men do. They are part of the United States, they make up part of the population, they should have equal votes. But then another argument that became stronger and actually was very good at mobilizing people between roughly the late 1890s and 1920 was women are a particular kind of citizen. They have particular interests in the home and children and women at work and children at work who need special treatment, special protection. They're interested in prostitution and cleaning it up. They're interested in why is government so corrupt, and maybe women who've been outside the political field can introduce notions of good government, so that it's because women differ from men and have a different thing to contribute to the civic polity that they should vote. And these two kinds of arguments, which seem logically to be quite at odds, were, I would argue, capable of being combined within one speech by Carrie Chapman Catt, the leader of the largest segment of the women's suffrage movement in the 19-teens. And I think I myself don't have any problem with this. That is, women and men are the same in many ways, and they are different.
Well, except that if one makes the argument, as the so-called equality feminists did, that, or the ERA feminists, or Alice Paul and the National Women's Party, that women are the same and should have all those rights, they then undermine exactly the kinds of special legislation that those arguments from difference had
led to and supported. Yes,
right, exactly.
I agree. And the conflict between them between these as principles, did not really surface until the vote was achieved. And in fact, initially, in the years 1920 to 21, Alice Paul and the National Women's Party was trying to create versions of an equal rights amendment that would preserve maternity legislation, for one thing, because many of the women who supported an equal rights amendment also were very much in favor of mothers' pensions. And they saw this as not a logical contradiction in that not all women are mothers. So those women who are mothers should be able to have mothers' pensions at the same time that all other discrimination should be wiped out. They tried language, this was with Florence Kelley's help in particular, that would preserve the special labor
the exception. In fact,
yes.
I think the earliest version said except for special labor legislation. And then,
but then there were people who argued, lawyers who argued within the National Women's Party, that any such exception could be abused legally, and that it set up an avenue by which discriminations could occur. And that side won out within the National Women's Party. So that then it became a split, and those who wanted special labor protections to remain in or to be improved and increased were completely against the Equal Rights Amendment. That then really cast a pall on the word feminist, because for the majority of women who were for the special benefits, feminist represented just what they saw as an extremely rigid, wipe out every differentiation between women and men in the law. And that's what feminism was for them, which is why so many women who we may think of as really advancing the cause of women more generally, such as Eleanor Roosevelt, would never use the term feminist for themselves. And that avoidance of the term feminist by people who were more on the left, by people who were more allied with women workers, by people who wanted any differentiation in laws, they avoided the term feminist really until around 1970.